Hi, boys and girls. Well, we just read a very funny story about some bears that went on a great honey hunt. And, it didn't turn out quite the way they thought. But in the end, they did get some honey. Well, we're going to read another book about bees. And it's called These Bees Count. And it's written by Alison Formento, and it's illustrated by Sarah Snow. These bees count. Hey, these bees. They rhyme. Even though they are not spelled the same, they still rhyme. These bees count. Let's find out about how do bees count. Are we counting them 1, 2, 3? Or is there another meaning for the word count? Oh, here we're going on a trip. Mr. Tate's class loves taking field trips. Today, their bus went to a farm. I look forward to when we get to go on a field trip again. And I see on the barn it says Busy Bee Farm. And behind the barn, I see 2 beehives. When we look at books, we have to observe everywhere. Farmer Allen led the class through a big field. There weren't any cows, horses, or sheep. There were only bees and tall flowers. Amy picked a flower and twirled it. Ellie looked around. Is this a flower farm? Farmer Allen smiled. No, but we grow a lot of wildflowers. Why do you think they grow wildflowers at that farm? Yep, you're right. Bees need flowers. They need that nectar. They walked through a grove of blossoming apple trees. Is this a tree farm? Natalie asked. Trees grow here too, Farmer Allen said. But at the Busy Bee Farm, we farm bees and honey. Honey tastes good, said Jake. Ellie held on to Mr. Tate. Bees sting. Only when they're afraid or angry, said Farmer Allen. And beekeepers always dress for safety before visiting the hives. Farmer Allen took everyone to a small shed. Mr. Tate helped give out beekeeper gear. The children pulled white jumpsuits over their clothes. Shin smoothed the net over her face. Here comes the bride. She's dressing up like she's a bride. We look like astronauts, said Jake. I feel safe in here, said Ellie. So we know that they have to wear suits with nets over their faces. Farmer Allen showed the class a field full of tall boxes. Welcome to the bee yard. These are bee houses or apiaries. Honeybees live here in hives. Most fly out each day to work. Bees work? Jake asked. Yes, they collect pollen, which is a tiny powder-like grain in flowers for their food. This powder is carried on their legs to crops, flowers, plants, and trees and helps them grow. Sharing pollen this way is called pollination. Sharing is good, said Shin. Farmer Allen pushed a can with a long spout into a hole in the back of one of the bee houses. This smoker will help us see the bees. She squeezed the handle and wisps of smoke puffed out. Hundreds of bees followed the smoke trail and flew into the air. Farmer Allen said, Now watch them work and hear what they say. What? Bees don't talk, Amy said. They do, Farmer Allen said. Listen to their buzz. Everyone watched and listened. This is what they heard. One by one we zip up high, buzzing through the bright blue sky. We fly over 2 waving dandelions, inviting us to visit. We find 3 wild strawberries bursting with sweetness. 4 apple blossoms tickle us with soft petals. 5 poppies stretch tall, greeting us like best friends. We stop for a drink where 6 farm hands water a crop of raspberries. Bees sure get thirsty, Jake said. Shh, said Amy. They're still buzzing. So they're visiting a lot of different kinds of flowers and blossoms. And we know that bees do drink water. Just like us, they get thirsty. We see 7 clovers dance in sunlight. 8 flowering cherry trees shimmer pink and white. In the garden, 9 shiny pea pods flutter in the breeze. Before we fly home, 10 tulips stand and nod, thankful for our pollen. Buzzing, flying, working, we do more than you know. Each of us is nature's farmer, helping food and flowers grow. So when they go around and pollinate everything, they're helping those plants grow, and in turn, we get to benefit from that. What did you hear? Asked Farmer Ellen. Bees count, Shin said. Why else are bees important? Mr. Tate asked. They make honey, Natalie said. Yes, said Farmer Ellen. Bees drink nectar, a sweet liquid from plants, and carry it back to the hives. Why? Asked Natalie. Juice inside a bee's stomach changes the nectar into honey, said the farmer. Bees spit the honey into a honeycomb made from beeswax. Then worker bees dry the new honey by flapping their wings faster than we can blink. Jake and Natalie tried flapping their arms as fast as a bee's wings. And do you see what shape the beeswax is? It has 6 sides. Yep, you're right. It's a hexagon. And so now we know honey is basically bee spit. Amy knelt to watch a bee on a clover blossom. Bees sure are busy. Yes, said Farmer Ellen. And without bee pollen, crops wouldn't grow and we wouldn't have food to eat. Allie said, Bees are nicer than I thought. Farmer Ellen smiled. It's time to check the hives. I like the way these children are very carefully observing bees so that they do not frighten them. Because you have to remember, you're a giant to the bee. That makes him very worried. Everyone helped slide wooden frames from the bee houses. They found 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 golden honeycombs. Farmer Ellen said, to get honey from the honeycombs, we'll use an extractor. This machine spins honey out, which then flows into jars. We put a cap on tight and label the jar, all ready to take home, or to the store if we buy it from a store. So you've got the kids with their honeycombs, and then you've got the extractor putting the honey into jars. Before the class boarded the bus to leave, Farmer Ellen pulled jars from a crate. Would you like a gift from the bees? Oh, sweet, said Jake. Thanks for the honey, bees, shouted Natalie. And for helping plants grow, said Shin. A bee whisked past Amy's ear. She waved at it. Buzz to you too. So whenever we have bees, we just gently wave them away. If you get all crazy, that frightens the bee, and they're more likely to be stressed and worried and sting you. If you gently wave it away or walk carefully away, you will be okay. And then here's a lot of information about bees. All right, my friends, now we know about bees and how they pollinate food for us when they pollinate those flowers and blossoms, which then bloom and grow into food that we can eat. And they also give us a very sweet treat. Let's scroll on down and find out what's our assignment for now.